Okay, it's important to keep your draperies and curtains dust-free. So I'm going to talk about the maintenance right now. And this, in order to keep your curtains dust-free, you can either dust it by hand with a hand duster, or you can use a vacuum with a soft brush attachment. You should dust your drapes and curtains once a week or at least once a month. And draperies and curtains should also be cleaned every so often. They may be hand washed or machine washed on the gentle cycle, but that's not recommended. Generally, cleaning will need to be done by a professional. And you'll know that your draperies need to be professionally cleaned if they are labeled not washable, if the fabric is faded or weakened by sunlight, if the embellishment and trims are not color fast, if they have pleats, if the lining fabric is different from the drapery fabric, or if they are large and bulky. Now I'm going to talk about the pricing variations. Just as about any other product, the pricing on drapes and curtains can vary quite drastically. Ready-made drapes can cost anywhere from $5 at Kmart to hundreds or thousands of dollars, which would be from high-end manufacturers, and this is depending on the quality, style, and the manufacturer. Custom-made drapes and curtains are usually more expensive. Pricing on custom drapes is usually determined by the quality of the fabric, and fabric can cost as low as $1 a yard and as high as hundreds of dollars a yard. And again, this is just depending on the quality and the style and the manufacturer. Other things to consider when pricing drapes and curtains is the cost of the hardware, the tiebacks, the rings, the valances, and any other embellishments or things you want to add to your drapes. And the price just depends, again, on the quality and the materials or the finishes being used. The difference in the quality of drapes and curtains depends on a couple of factors. The first is the material or the fabric that's used, and the second is the lining. Now, there are two kinds of fibers used to create fabric, and they are natural and synthetic. The natural fibers are cotton, wool, linen, and silk. Silk is the most delicate, while the others are much more durable. The synthetic fibers are acetate, polyester, nylon, and rayon. For the most part, all of these fibers are durable and easy to clean. Acetate is soft to the touch, has good draping qualities and crease retention, and is sun, mold, and mildew resistant. Polyester washes and drip dries well, doesn't wrinkle, and won't get damaged in the sun very easily. And a good brand and supplier of polyester is Travera. Nylon is a very strong fabric that pleats well and is also sun and wrinkle resistant. And lastly, rayon has a high luster and was originally made as a cheap alternative to silk, but rayon doesn't age well. The lining in draperies and curtains are usually not used if it's a sheer or a casement, but otherwise you should have a lining on your drapery. Lining helps the drapery handle more smoothly and gives more depth to the pleats, as well as it protects it from sun damage and helps conserve energy. There are almost an innumerable amount of different styles and types of drapes and curtains. This is mostly because you can mix and match different styles, and so it really makes the possibilities endless. A few examples that I've put up are the standard pinch pleat, which is shown right here. And then we have the French pleat, and you can kind of see how these are about the same, but the French pleat has a more softer edge. This is a grommet, and it's a way to hang the curtains or draperies. And a rod pocket, and this is a ring top, and this is a tie top. And these are sheared curtains. They're gathered at the top. A box pleat looks like this. And these are cafe curtains. You can tell that they're cafe curtains because they only cover the bottom half of the window. And this is an example of a couple of styles that have been mixed. This is the swag is the part in the middle that droops, and the cascade are the on the sides that angle downwards. There are a few different types of valances as well. There's the balloon valance shown here. And this is a swag that was seen on the couple slides ago on the swag and cascade. This is an ascot. And this is a lambrequin. This is one of the vocab words. And you can see it's kind of like a cornice, but it actually extends down the sides as well. And here's an example of a cornice. Window treatments play a significant role in the energy performance of a building. So they definitely can help with the sustainability of a building. The energy performance, the significant role that they play can be categorized according to the two energy saving functions: shading from solar heat gain in the summer and insulation from building heat loss in the winter. Because these are two very different functions, the most treatments are more effective at one than the other. There is also a wide variety of sustainable fabrics that one can use in drapes and curtains. Fabrics can be considered eco-friendly if they are made from natural fibers like cotton, hemp, bamboo, if they're dyed with low-impact dye, or they are made with recycled plastic. There aren't very many things that you need to consider when talking about the disabled considerations or ADA, but as designers it's always important to take into consideration who will be using the space that's being designed. So drapes really are pretty universal, but the main things that you need to keep in mind when designing and installing drapes or curtains are to keep the drapes off the floor for wheelchair accessibility, make sure cords and chains are reachable, and ensure that the drapes open and close easily without too much effort. Window treatments must pass the vertical ignition test, or the NFPA 701, in order to comply with fire codes. The NFPA 701 defines two tests used for hanging fabrics and some window treatments. Draperies and curtains may also have to meet the terms of the UL 214. And it's also important to remember that if a drapery or curtain covers 10% or more of a wall, it's considered an interior finish and will have to pass other safety fire tests as well. So in conclusion, successful window treatments introduce a combination of style and decoration to a room that is appropriate for both the visual setting and for the role of the room. While style usually refers to the overall look of a design scheme and decoration to its flourishes and details, these two elements are inseparable in the art of creating beautiful and enduring window fashions. And just as interior designers, it's always important to not only consider the aesthetics of a design, but we also need to consider the elements that make it a good design, including simplicity, appropriateness, function, economy, the honesty of materials, and especially accessibility, codes, and regulations. And that's the end of my presentation.